connected through music first, and then kind of realized. I think we were on a phone call one time, and then somehow something came up about ghost hunting, and Luke was like, "What the fuck?" And he's like, "That's my thing," and we just started talking about it. Like he was going into his experiences and what he's done, and not too long after that, we were in a cemetery at like 1 a.m. Taking videos. So you never know what happens, right?
Well, we drove all the way. It was one night because we drove all the way around Orlando. We're like, dude, we went to this one cemetery, but they didn't want to break into it. So I was like, okay, well, let's go find one that's open. So
it was gated. The gate was shut.
There was no scary stories. There was no history. We just drove into a cemetery and we're like, screw it, let's just walk around. So that's what we did.
That's awesome.
No ghost hunting equipment at that time. We were a little underprepared, but next time we'll be ready.
We are all our own ghost hunting equipment.
There we go.
And you'd be surprised. Like a lot of people are. A lot of the big investigators now are like, dude, your phone has got everything already.
Yeah.
You could do a call response session. You can do. You do basically anything you want.
Yeah.
I even have a spirit box. What is it called? Ovulus in my phone.
Okay.
Right on.
Does it hurt? Does it burn?
It's
obvious burns.
It's Ovulus, guy.
I see what you did.
Yeah.
I also wonder when people use those. I am an absolute ready to be a believer in everything, but I'm also a healthy, humorous skeptic in everything, right? So I always have the questions of like, okay, your spirit box told you that you're speaking to this little girl that was playing in the hallway, and you believe it. Why is that? Why do you believe it's being honest with you?
That's a great.
Why do you believe it's not something else?
That is something else.
Yeah.
And we were talking to somebody, and she was talking about an issue with a spirit at her house that was haunting the house and doing these things and having people come in. And she was like, I had a priest come out, and I was like, well, what if it isn't Catholic? Like, why do you think that can drive it out? Like, we're using like a very human made up belief system to try and explain away things that we're only halfway maybe getting what we're being allowed to see or hear from. So I always find that really interesting. They're like, oh, it was, she was this or he was this. I'm like, yeah, were they?
That's how I feel about astral projection.
Mm-hmm.
Like the same way. I'm like, how I'm so skeptical over that. I still have not figured it out yet, but I think that's one thing I'll never really truly understand.
I don't know. Have you guys ever seen
studies that a lot? That's totally interesting. Yeah, that's always my question. I'm always like, how do you know?
Yeah, have you guys ever seen BuzzFeed Unsolved?
No.
Okay, so they pit this like staunch skeptic, right? This comedian, with this sort of semi kind of believer that's scared of all this stuff, and this on ghost investigations with all the equipment, right? So there's one episode in particular that I remember, and I think they were in like Arizona or the Wild West somewhere. They were in some jail, and they were down in this dark room. And what they decided to do is they had one of those flashlights where like it's super sensitive, right? If it gets moved, it'll turn on and turn off, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So they set it up in the room, and then they put Ryan, who's the sort of semi-believer, in a chair. And Shane, the one that doesn't believe at all, was asking these like crazy, ridiculous questions. Like, do you want to hurt him? Do you hate us? Kind of thing. And the craziest part is the light was responding to every single question to a T.
Yeah.
And so it was like, do you have ill intent with us? And the light would turn on. They're like, okay, turn the light off if you want to hurt Ryan. And the light went off like 2 seconds later. And so that's the kind of thing where like, I love seeing the skeptics and the believers kind of investigating at one time. Obviously, he still laughed it away. He didn't believe it, which to me, I was like, okay, that's pretty writings on the wall, right? But
did it hurt him?
It didn't do anything, thankfully. He's lucky.
Or it was a liar. They're all liars.
Right.
Don't believe them.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So contrary